Hello and welcome to Encrypted Inc. I'm your host Dan Encrypted, decrypting everything ASX and crypto for you. Shout outs first to Perth Crypto crew and to Perth Crypto Group. If you're from Perth and you like crypto, want to learn more about crypto, get onto both of these Facebook groups. The communities are really good, lots of knowledge shared by many of the members within the community. So if you just want to learn more or you want to be a part of the community and share your knowledge, get on board on both of those Facebook groups. G'day to everyone in West Australia. It is a really nice day out there today. I went to Singleton Beach, just had a bit of a swim there. Fantastic day to get out. If you're not even from West Australia and you get a chance to come to West Australia sometime in the future, highly recommend going to Singleton Beach. It's a fantastic beach. It's just on my doorstep here, and it is a fantastic place to be and to go to just to relax and chill out. So that's that out of the way. Let's get straight into the market update. So we'll start with the ASX. First thing I'm going to bring up here is the indexes, which is the ASX 200 index, which closed today 0.27% down. We've also seen the ordinaries close at negative 0.22%. So if you saw my last video about the black swan, I basically said to you guys that, entering in September, it's, one of those months that, may be a bit fearful in the market. And we've seen that with a big sell-off here potentially within that market. And what are we seeing now? It's kind of channeling both on these indexes in an upward trend. Interesting point that's coming up now is that it almost looks like either it's going to continue on an upward trend channel, or it may even start going into a consolidation or maybe a sideways channel along there. Interesting news, as I mentioned in my last video, was the China announcement regarding their, industry that's happening in China. So maybe that will have an effect just to see which direction those will go. I just want to also bring you guys some attention to the resource sector in particular, and just what I've seen here. So I've sort of broken down, and I'll try and do this more for my next market updates as well, guys. So I'll try and break down different sectors, or particularly the resource sector, into different sectors and commodities and resources that individual companies within that sector mine. So what I've got here is I've got some iron ore and just big ones, and these are just a few. I haven't got all of them, but I will get to that. So we've got Rio, BHP, FMG, predominantly iron ore companies, and they've taken a bit of a bad day for them. Also LNG, which is natural gas. So we've got what have we got here? Santos, which is again taking a downward trend. But what's interesting, if you go to the lithium miners that are trying to either establish yourself or are currently mining lithium at the moment, you can start to see that they've sort of bucked the trend on the day here. Not all of them, but just some of them. These are just some that I've put together. Okay, nickel is also one that I'm going to work on eventually and have that in here, but I've only just started with this, so bear with me with that. What else have we got to talk about? Well, let's get into, I guess, crypto itself and see what the market's doing there. So from the 8th of September, or since I guess maybe you call it some sort of black swan event that's happened here, we've just basically going into a sideways channel here. So we've seen a little bit of price action, but nothing major, nothing like that would convince anyone that we're going into a massive bull or bear market. So it would you'd classify this as accumulation or consolidation period, maybe over time, depending on which way you think the market may be going. So I mean, we've tested this lower fib level here twice. Bitcoin's actually tested it almost 3 times and slightly dip below here. So what's the future for Bitcoin and Ethereum? This is just my 2 cents, not investment advice. Well, I think you're going to see probably more of what we've just seen, or we've just seen here along, a certain amount of time. It may particularly drop below this particular fib level here and into that one. That's not panic stations. If that happens, it could continue up and start rising into these levels. Now, what would happen if it rose into these? This is just my opinion, okay? If we start rising into these levels up here, you could probably start seeing a bit of movement in the altcoins, probably in particular NFTs, maybe some movement in DeFi. And I guess, what's your basis on that? If I can move my chart, yes, I can. Great. If I can move my chart back here, I just did a bit of charting going back a while ago. And maybe we have to enlarge it. Maybe if we enlarge it, might be a bit better. Let's try that. Okay. Here we go. Going back. Yeah. Okay. That's what I would. Right. Here we go. Are we there? No, that's BTC. Let's go. Oh, charts. They're fantastic things, guys. Okay, here we go. Now, it's going to move. I have like nothing running right now except for 3 windows. I find it amazing that it's chugging along, but anyway. All right, we got there. So basically we entered in the sideways channel back here. I've sort of put it into after, let's look at Ethereum's run up, and Bitcoin pretty much did the same thing. We got one fib level here that I mentioned in my previous video, another one here like a midpoint, and another one the sort of high end of that channel. Interestingly enough is that when we broke out of that particular channel here and around here, it was technically what they call altcoin season, which is an American term, and I'm happy with the term. I think it's great. It just basically says that this is, a time where a lot of altcoins start seeing a lot of movement, which is any other coin other than Bitcoin, I guess Ethereum as well, you could include it in there. I mean, we saw it again here. It just broke above that particular fib level for a while, and again, we saw a lot of movement in altcoins. Again, we're probably going to see that happen potentially sometime in the future, but it all depends on sort of the movement of what's going to be happening along this channel here. I mean, are we going to dip down here? Are we going to shoot back up again? And a lot of that comes down to fundamentals as well as what's happening with Ethereum. Are there any improvements, or even Bitcoin? And I mentioned some that may be happening sometime in the future. See my previous videos for that. So, also, I think I mentioned, the NFTs and DeFi. Also look at the SCP market as well, which is your smart contracts platform market. And if you want more information on that, just go into CoinGecko and just have a browse through what's available there. Okay, so Secrets Revealed, episode 6, anticipating an exit of an upward trend. And my chart again's done something really weird. Thank you, chart. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Right. So this is what I look at. Now, take this as with whatever you want, right? So this is a trend for Ethereum. Now we can see here the London hard fork, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, and now I'm just going to explain it. So if I won't go further back than this, but there's also more market movement towards the upside. Now, if you draw yourself a trend line just at the bottom of the lows as it's going up in an upward trend, that's a good start, okay? Now, here you can obviously see that as it sort of broke past that upward trend, it sort of took down, there was people selling off there. They were taking the gains over that particular time. What's interesting to me, and why I like to sort of chart this, is that I want to anticipate, where are we going again from here? Are we going again in a further upward trend, or are we going into maybe a consolidation reaccumulation period like we have seen with Ethereum? And what I do to determine that is I look at the very high point here, and I'll wait until this happens within the markets. As time goes by, you've seen an upward trend in price. But as it tapers off, what I find interesting, this is like the tapering. You can see it very clearly then, can you? Because you can see there's a gap between the upward point of this trend line here and where that. So it's reached pretty much the same high as a very high exiting that particular market cycle or run through there. So now what's interesting is that if it keeps continuing, and this is where I just keep an eye on the market as it's doing these ups and downs flows through here. If I put a trend line from the high point of when, I guess you could say, exited the bull run, now that we're looking back at it, you can see that there's a gap here between now, again, from this high to this high, it's sort of starting to increase. And that one definitely showed a massive. So we're not reaching higher highs. That's what the point of, I guess, doing a channel on an upwards trend would be, is because I want to know, are we going to see higher highs? And the easiest way to do it is to just simply draw a trend line. Now, at this point here, what I particularly look at is to create my channel or a consolidation period would be when there was maybe a big, downward trend after a very upward trend. Where was that low point? And I'll mark it. And then again, if I'm looking here, I'm looking, wow, it's testing that particular level 1, 2, 3 times. So when it comes to here, I'm okay, but I've already got this sort of line drawn in here. So now I'm looking here, but I've got this fib level here. So I'm curious at this point in the market where it's going to hit that fib level, or if it's actually going to keep going up. So it went up in this stage. So I would draw my bottom end of my, continuation of an upward channel from here to here. Thank you, chart. I didn't even do that. I didn't do anything, but thank you. Anyway, it's funny how technology loves to do ridiculous things. Anyway, we'll keep going. So, as I start drawing it here, and you may have seen in one of my ridiculous movies on a market videos on a market update, on how, I guess, I saw maybe this happening, and at this particular point in time, I did one with some drum and bass music and just something really funny, because I could already see this happening because I drew my channel in, my upward trend line, and then when it came to this particular point here, I think is when I did the video, it just confirmed to me that we're potentially going into a very, very maybe long consolidation period over time with, ups and downs along the way, as you can see. But if you look through the chart, and we have seen an up here, all right? Now, again, I'll explain more about how you can determine this area here in another video. That'll be my next Secrets Revealed video. But as it went up through this particular upward trend, it came back, and it's sitting exactly back on the channel that we are in when I drew a long time ago, and it's pretty much sitting in there again. So look, that's Secrets Revealed. I hope you get something out of this, guys. This is just what I put together and how I determine what's happening in the marketplace. You may have your own strategies. I completely respect that. There's no one particular way to determine, a way to sort of analyze a market. I think it's important to always, look at everything that's out there. And then, you know, also, you know, play around and see what works for you, because not some things work for you, some things may not, but if you find something that works, go with it. So that's my take on all this. That's Secrets Revealed episode 6. I'll talk about other secrets along the way as well. I haven't thought about what the next one will be, but it may be something to do with, you know, something within a channel and trying to work out exactly how to see an upward trend within a consolidation period. So I have my ideas on that. You can already see I've sort of drawn a little bit of something here, which is what I'll use, and I'll talk about that later and how to determine that in a future episode. 15 minutes. I think I've done okay. Have I done okay? Everyone tells me to keep my videos short. Well, I've kept it as short as I can. 15 minutes I think is good. So we'll go with that. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dan Encrypted. You can find me on Facebook at Dan Encrypted. You can find me on Twitter at Dan the Encrypted Man. You can find me on Instagram at Dan Encrypted. You can find me on YouTube at Encrypted Inc. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you all next time.